The alarm clock rang at 5:30 in the morning at Kensington Palace. Catherine slowly opened her eyes and felt her heart beating fast. Today was not like any other day. Today was May 6, 2023, and King Charles would be crowned. She would stand next to her husband William as he became the direct heir to the throne. Catherine sat up in bed and looked around their bedroom. Everything seemed different somehow. The same furniture was there, the same pictures on the walls, but the air felt heavy with importance. She could hear William moving around in the bathroom. The sound of running water told her he was already getting ready. She walked to her window and pulled back the thick curtains. Outside, she could see people already gathering on the streets. Some had been there all night. They carried flags and wore crowns made of paper. Children sat on their father's shoulders. Everyone wanted to see history happen. Catherine went to her dressing room where her outfit was waiting. The ivory silk dress hung on a special hanger. It looked so beautiful, but also so serious. This dress would be in history books forever. People would study every detail of what she wore today. The thought made her hands shake a little. Her stylist had arrived early and was setting up all the jewelry and accessories. There were boxes everywhere. Each one contained something special for today. The headpiece by Jess Collett sat in its own special case. It sparkled with silver thread and crystals. Catherine had tried it on many times before, but today it felt different. Today it felt real. William came into the room wearing his navy blue Royal Air Force uniform. He looked so handsome and serious. Catherine noticed how the deep blue color made his eyes look even more blue. She had not realized it before, but her accessories had the same navy blue color. Her belt was navy. Her shoes were navy. Even some details on her headpiece were navy blue. Neither of them had planned this matching on purpose. It just happened naturally, like they were connected in ways they did not even think about. William saw her looking at their matching colors and smiled. He did not say anything, but his smile told her he noticed too. The hair and makeup team worked quietly around Catherine. Everyone knew how important today was. No one wanted to make mistakes. Catherine sat very still as they styled her hair. She thought about all the other women who had sat in similar chairs getting ready for coronations. Queen Elizabeth had done this. Queen Mary had done this. Now it was her turn to be part of this long line of history. William was in the next room talking with his security team. She could hear their serious voices discussing the day's schedule. Every minute was planned. Every step was practiced. But Catherine knew that no amount of planning could prepare them for what they were about to experience. A servant brought tea and toast, but Catherine could barely eat. Her stomach felt tight with nerves. This was bigger than their wedding day, bigger than anything they had ever done before. Today the whole world would be watching them. Every move they made would be studied and talked about for years to come. Catherine stood up and looked at herself in the full-length mirror. The woman looking back at her was ready. The ivory dress fit perfectly. The navy accessories looked right. Her hair was styled beautifully. But inside she still felt like the girl who had met William at university. The girl who never imagined she would one day be getting ready for a coronation. William appeared behind her in the mirror. He placed his hands on her shoulders. Together they looked like they belonged in this moment, like they were meant to be here together. The matching navy blue in their outfits seemed to connect them even more. They were ready to make history together. 3 months before the coronation, Catherine sat in her private office at Kensington Palace. Papers were spread across her desk. Fabric samples lay everywhere. Her stylist sat across from her with a serious look on her face. They were planning every single detail of what Catherine would wear on Coronation Day. The royal protocol team had given them a thick book of rules. What colors were allowed, what styles were proper, what jewelry could be worn. Catherine flipped through the pages, feeling overwhelmed. There were so many things to consider. Every choice had meaning. Every detail would be studied by people around the world. Her stylist held up different fabric samples to the light. Ivory silk looked elegant. Cream satin looked royal. But something was missing. Catherine could not figure out what it was. She wanted her outfit to say something special. She wanted it to show her connection to William and their future together. Then William walked into the room wearing his Royal Air Force uniform. The deep navy blue caught Catherine's eye immediately. She had seen him in this uniform hundreds of times, but today something clicked. The blue was perfect. It was strong and loyal. It was serious, but also beautiful. It represented everything William stood for as a future king. Catherine picked up a navy blue ribbon from the samples on her desk. She held it next to William's uniform. The colors matched exactly. Her stylist saw what she was thinking and smiled. This was it. This was the missing piece they had been looking for. They began planning how to add navy blue touches to Catherine's outfit. Her shoes would be navy. Her belt would be navy. The headpiece would have navy blue threads woven through the silver. Each element would be small, but together they would create a connection between Catherine and William that everyone could see. The headpiece designer, Jess Collett, came to the palace the next week. She brought sketches and samples of her work. Catherine explained her vision. She wanted something that looked royal, but also showed her partnership with William. Jess understood immediately. She began designing a headpiece that would sparkle with silver and crystal, but would have navy blue threads running through it like veins. Catherine's seamstress worked for weeks creating the perfect ivory dress. The silk was so fine it felt like water between her fingers. But it was the navy blue accessories that made Catherine most excited. Each piece was carefully crafted to match William's uniform exactly. The blue was not too dark and not too light. It was the same shade that represented duty and service in the Royal Air Force. As the coronation got closer, Catherine would try on different parts of her outfit. Each time she put on the navy blue shoes or belt, she thought about William. She thought about how they would look standing together. She imagined how their matching colors would show the world that they were partners in everything. The media did not know about the matching colors. It was Catherine and William's secret. They wanted it to be a surprise. They wanted people to notice on their own. They hoped that when people saw them together, they would understand without being told that this couple was truly united. Catherine's lady-in-waiting helped her practice walking in the navy blue shoes. The heels were not too high, but they were different from her everyday shoes. She needed to be able to walk gracefully down the long aisle of Westminster Abbey. She needed to look confident and royal, but also natural and real. The night before the coronation, Catherine laid out all her accessories. The navy blue pieces looked perfect next to the ivory dress. Everything worked together like pieces of a puzzle. Tomorrow, the world would see how well she and William fit together, not just as husband and wife, but as future king and queen. The royal car moved slowly through the streets of London. Catherine sat next to William, watching thousands of people line the roads. Everyone was waving flags and cheering. Children held up homemade signs with their names on them. Older people wiped tears from their eyes as the car passed by. Catherine's ivory silk cape flowed behind her in the car. She had practiced sitting gracefully with the cape many times. But today, with all the excitement and nerves, everything felt different. Her navy blue shoes peeked out from under her dress. They matched William's uniform, perfectly just as they had planned. William looked out his window at the crowds. Catherine could see he was thinking deeply about what this day meant. His father was about to become king. William was about to become the direct heir to the throne. Their lives were changing in ways they could hardly imagine. The car turned a corner and Westminster Abbey came into view. Catherine had seen this ancient building many times before. She had attended services there. She had visited as a tourist when she was younger. But today it looked completely different. Today it looked like the most important place in the world. Hundreds of reporters and photographers surrounded the Abbey. Their cameras flashed constantly. Television crews from every country were broadcasting live to millions of people. Catherine knew that every step she took from now on would be watched and remembered forever. The car stopped at the Abbey entrance. Catherine took a deep breath. This was it. This was the moment when everything would become real. William squeezed her hand gently. They had practiced this entrance many times, but nothing could have prepared them for the actual moment. A royal aide opened Catherine's door. The sound hit her immediately. Thousands of people were cheering and calling their names. The noise was incredible. It seemed to echo off the ancient stones of the abbey. Catherine stepped out of the car and felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. Her cape caught the morning breeze and flowed behind her like liquid silk. The ivory color looked beautiful against the gray stones of the abbey. But it was the navy blue accessories that caught the light and sparkled. Her shoes stepped carefully on the red carpet that led to the abbey doors. William walked beside her looking strong and confident. His navy blue uniform was pressed perfectly. Every button shone. Every detail was exactly right. Together, they moved like they had been practicing this walk their whole lives. Their matching navy blue colors created a visual connection that everyone could see. Catherine could feel the eyes of the world on her. Every photographer was trying to capture the perfect shot. Every television camera was following their movement. But strangely, she felt calm. Walking next to William in their coordinated outfits, she felt like they belonged here. Like this was exactly where they were meant to be. The abbey doors were massive and ancient. They had been opened for kings and queens for hundreds of years. Now they were opening for Catherine and William to witness the coronation of King Charles. Catherine's heart beat faster as they approached the entrance. Inside the abbey, Catherine could see guests already seated. World leaders sat in the front rows. Members of Parliament filled other sections. The Archbishop of Canterbury stood at the altar preparing for the ceremony. Everything looked grand and serious and absolutely perfect. Catherine's navy blue belt caught the light from the abbey's famous stained glass windows. The colors from the windows painted rainbow patterns on her ivory dress. William's uniform reflected the same beautiful light. Together, they looked like they had stepped out of a painting. As they walked down the aisle, Catherine noticed other people looking at their outfits. She saw smiles and nods of approval. People were noticing how well their colors worked together. The navy blue connection between her accessories and his uniform was creating exactly the effect they had hoped for. They reached their seats and sat down carefully. Catherine arranged her cape so it would not wrinkle. William straightened his uniform jacket. They were ready for the most important ceremony of their lives to begin. Inside Westminster Abbey, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Catherine and William sat in their designated seats surrounded by the most important people in the world. Presidents and prime ministers filled the rows around them. Everyone was dressed in their finest clothes, but Catherine noticed something special happening. Other couples in the abbey were beginning to notice how perfectly Catherine and William's outfits worked together. The navy blue elements in Catherine's accessories seemed to dance with the navy blue of William's Royal Air Force uniform. It was subtle but unmistakable. They looked like they belonged together in a way that went beyond just being married. Queen Camilla entered the abbey wearing her magnificent coronation dress. The fabric shimmered with gold and silver threads. Her jewelry sparkled under the abbey lights, but when she saw Catherine and William sitting together, she paused for just a moment. Her eyes took in their coordinated appearance, and a small smile crossed her face. Catherine caught Queen Camilla's eye across the abbey. The future queen consort gave Catherine the smallest nod of approval. It was barely noticeable to anyone else, but Catherine understood its meaning perfectly. This was recognition from one royal woman to another. This was approval of how Catherine had chosen to present herself and her marriage on this most important day. The Spanish royal couple sitting nearby also noticed the harmony between Catherine and William's outfits. Queen Letizia whispered something to King Philip, and they both looked approvingly at the British couple. The navy blue connection was working exactly as Catherine had hoped. It was sending a message without words about unity and partnership. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his wife sat a few rows behind Catherine and William. Mrs. Sunak was known for her interest in fashion, and she immediately understood what Catherine had done with her outfit choices. She whispered to her husband about how clever it was to coordinate with William's uniform in such a subtle way. The French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte were also taking notice. Brigitte Macron was a style icon in her own right, and she appreciated the thought that had gone into Catherine's appearance. The way the navy blue accessories complemented William's uniform showed a level of planning and partnership that impressed everyone who noticed it. Catherine felt proud as she realized people were understanding her message. She had not wanted to be obvious about matching with William. Instead, she had chosen to create a subtle harmony that spoke to those who were paying attention. The navy blue thread that connected their outfits was like the invisible thread that connected their hearts. A duchess from Belgium leaned over to her husband and pointed out how perfectly Catherine and William complemented each other. Their outfits told a story of two people who had learned to move as one while still maintaining their individual styles. It was elegant and sophisticated and exactly right for the future king and queen. The Archbishop of Canterbury entered the abbey, and the ceremony was about to begin. But in those final moments before the official proceedings started, Catherine felt a wave of confidence wash over her. She and William had succeeded in presenting themselves as a united team. Their matching navy blue elements had created the exact impression they wanted to make. William sensed Catherine's confidence and reached over to squeeze her hand briefly. He had also noticed the approving looks and whispered comments from other guests. Their coordination was being recognized and appreciated by people who understood the language of royal symbolism. Catherine looked around the abbey one more time before the ceremony began. She saw presidents and kings and queens from around the world. She saw the Archbishop preparing to crown King Charles. She saw history about to be made. And she saw that she and William were part of it all as a perfectly matched team. The organ music began to play, signaling the start of the coronation ceremony. Catherine straightened in her seat and felt the navy blue belt around her waist. William sat up straighter, and his navy blue uniform caught the light. Together, they were ready to witness King Charles become the new monarch. Together, they were ready to take their place as the future of the British royal family. The moment of recognition was complete. Everyone who mattered had seen and understood. Catherine and William's bond was visible in the harmony of their appearance. The moment everyone had been waiting for finally arrived. King Charles walked slowly toward the altar where the Archbishop of Canterbury stood waiting. The entire abbey fell silent except for the soft sounds of his footsteps on the ancient stone floor. Catherine felt her heart beating so hard she was sure everyone could hear it. The Stedward's crown sat on a velvet cushion near the altar. It had been used to crown British monarchs for hundreds of years. The gold gleamed under the abbey lights. The precious stones sparkled like stars. This crown represented power and responsibility that few people could truly understand. Catherine watched as William's father prepared to receive the crown. She could see the weight of the moment in King Charles's face. This was what he had been preparing for his entire life. At 74 years old, he was finally becoming king. William sat perfectly still beside Catherine, but she could feel the emotion radiating from him. The Archbishop began the ancient words of the coronation ceremony. Each phrase had been spoken at coronations for generations. The same words had crowned Queen Elizabeth. The same words had crowned kings and queens going back centuries. Catherine felt connected to all the women who had witnessed these moments before her. When the Archbishop lifted the crown high above King Charles's head, Catherine felt tears starting to form in her eyes. This was not just about one man becoming king. This was about the continuation of something that had lasted for over 1,000 years. This was about William's future and her future and their children's future. The crown was placed on King Charles's head, and the abbey erupted in shouts of "God save the King." Catherine felt overwhelmed by the sound and the moment. Beside her, William looked proud and serious and ready for whatever came next. The navy blue of his uniform seemed to shine even brighter in this moment of triumph. Catherine's hand moved unconsciously to touch her earrings. They were Princess Diana's sapphire and diamond earrings. William had given them to her to wear today because he wanted his mother to be part of this historic moment. The deep blue sapphires matched perfectly with the navy blue in both their outfits, creating a connection between past and future. As she touched the earrings, Catherine thought about Princess Diana and how proud she would have been to see this day. She would have loved seeing William looking so handsome and confident in his uniform. She would have appreciated the way Catherine had chosen to honor their partnership through their coordinated appearance. The ceremony continued with readings and prayers and music, but Catherine found herself thinking ahead to the future. One day this would be William receiving the crown. One day she would sit in this same abbey watching her husband become king. The thought was both exciting and terrifying. Catherine looked at William and saw that he was thinking the same thing. His jaw was set with determination. His shoulders were straight with pride. The navy blue uniform he wore represented his years of service and his readiness to serve even more. When his time came, he would be ready. The matching navy blue elements in their outfits suddenly felt even more meaningful. They were not just fashion choices anymore. They were symbols of their commitment to each other and to the future of the monarchy. They were promises made visible through fabric and thread. King Charles stood up as the newly crowned monarch, and the entire abbey rose to their feet. Catherine's ivory cape flowed behind her as she stood. William's uniform jacket remained perfectly pressed despite hours of sitting. Together they looked like they belonged in this moment of history. The organ music swelled through the abbey, playing the national anthem. Everyone sang, "God Save the King," with voices full of emotion. Catherine sang along, feeling proud to be part of this tradition. The navy blue belt around her waist felt like a reminder of her connection to William and their shared destiny. As the ceremony reached its climax, Catherine realized that she and William had successfully shown the world something important today. Their coordinated appearance had demonstrated their unity and their readiness for the future. The crown on King Charles's head represented the present, but the matching navy blue in Catherine and William's outfits represented the future. The newly crowned King Charles looked out at the congregation, and his eyes found William and Catherine. He smiled at them with love and pride. They were his son and daughter-in-law, but they were also the future of everything he had just committed to protect and serve. After the coronation ceremony ended, the royal family made their way to Buckingham Palace. Catherine sat in the carriage with William, watching the crowds line the streets all the way from Westminster Abbey to the palace. People were cheering and waving flags. The excitement in the air was incredible. Catherine's ivory cape had been carefully arranged in the carriage so it would not wrinkle during the ride. Her navy blue accessories caught the sunlight streaming through the carriage windows. William sat beside her in his perfectly pressed uniform. The navy blue color looked even more vibrant in the natural light. When they arrived at Buckingham Palace, Catherine could hear the massive crowd gathered in front of the building. Thousands and thousands of people had come to see the newly crowned King Charles and the royal family appear on the famous balcony. The sound of their voices carried through the palace walls. Catherine and William were led through the palace corridors toward the room that opened onto the balcony. Palace staff were everywhere making final preparations. Everything had to be perfect for this historic moment. The whole world would be watching and photographing their appearance. In the room behind the balcony, Catherine checked her appearance one last time. Her hair was still perfectly styled despite the long ceremony and carriage ride. Her makeup looked fresh. The ivory dress had not wrinkled. The navy blue accessories were exactly where they should be. William straightened his uniform jacket and checked that all his medals were properly positioned. The navy blue color of his Royal Air Force uniform looked magnificent. Catherine noticed how handsome he looked and how perfectly their outfits complemented each other even after hours of ceremony and travel. King Charles entered the room wearing his coronation robes and crown. He looked tired but happy. This had been the most important day of his life, and everything had gone perfectly. Queen Camilla stood beside him looking elegant and proud. The entire royal family was ready for their balcony appearance. The palace doors opened and King Charles stepped out onto the balcony first. The crowd below erupted in cheers so loud they seemed to shake the building. Catherine could see the sea of people stretching all the way to the Victoria Memorial and beyond. She had never seen so many people in one place. Catherine and William stepped out onto the balcony together, and the crowd cheered even louder. From this height, Catherine could see the true size of the gathering. There were families with children on shoulders. There were elderly people in wheelchairs. There were young people waving phones to take pictures. Everyone wanted to be part of this historic day. The coordinated appearance of Catherine and William's outfits became even more apparent from the balcony. Looking down at the crowd, Catherine realized that people could see them as a unified pair. The ivory of her dress and the gold details on William's uniform created a beautiful contrast, while the navy blue elements tied everything together perfectly. Children in the crowd were pointing up at them. Parents were explaining that they were looking at the future King and Queen of England. Catherine felt the weight of that responsibility, but also the excitement of it. She and William were representing the future of the monarchy, and their matching outfits showed how ready they were for that role. Photographers positioned around the palace were capturing every moment. Catherine knew these pictures would be in history books and museums forever. Future generations would study these images to understand what this day was like. The coordination between her and William's outfits would be part of that historical record. The crowd began chanting, "We want the king," and King Charles waved from the center of the balcony. But Catherine noticed that many people were also calling out for William and her. The future of the monarchy was just as important to people as the present. Their coordinated navy blue elements seemed to represent that bright future. William put his arm around Catherine's waist as they waved to the crowd. The gesture was natural and loving, but it also created a perfect photograph. His navy blue uniform sleeve against her ivory dress, with the navy blue belt visible, created an image of partnership and unity that would be remembered forever. A military flyover had been planned, and the sound of aircraft approaching could be heard in the distance. Catherine looked up to see Royal Air Force planes flying in formation over Buckingham Palace. William had served in the RAF, and seeing the planes in their matching navy blue colors felt like another perfect connection to their coordinated appearance. The crowd cheered even louder as the planes passed overhead. Red, white, and blue smoke trails followed the aircraft across the London sky. Catherine felt proud of William's military service, and proud that their outfit coordination honored that service through the matching navy blue colors. As they continued waving from the balcony, Catherine realized that this moment would be remembered as one of the most important in British royal history. She and William had successfully presented themselves as the future of the monarchy through their perfectly coordinated appearance. Behind the scenes at Buckingham Palace, royal reporters and fashion experts were buzzing with excitement about Catherine and William's coordinated appearance. In the press room, journalists were already writing articles about the deeper meaning behind their matching navy blue elements. Everyone could see that this was not just coincidence. Royal fashion correspondent Sarah Jenkins was typing frantically on her laptop, trying to capture everything she had observed. She had covered royal events for 20 years, but had never seen such perfect coordination between a royal couple. The navy blue connection between Catherine's accessories and William's uniform was clearly intentional and deeply meaningful. Fashion expert Victoria Noble was being interviewed live on television about the royal outfits. She explained to viewers around the world that the matching blue elements represented partnership and unity. This was not just about looking good together. This was about communicating their bond without saying a single word. In the palace gift shop, visitors were already asking about replicas of Catherine's navy blue accessories. The shoes and belt had become instant fashion icons. Store managers were taking notes about which items people wanted to buy. The coordinated look was inspiring people to think about their own partnerships and relationships. Royal photographer Arthur Edwards had taken hundreds of pictures throughout the day. As he reviewed his images on his camera, he could see how the navy blue elements created visual harmony in every shot. Whether Catherine and William were walking together or sitting apart, the matching colors always drew them together in the frame. Palace staff members who had helped with the outfit planning were feeling proud of their work. Catherine's dresser smiled as she watched the television coverage. The months of careful planning and coordination had paid off perfectly. Every navy blue detail was being noticed and appreciated by people around the world. Royal correspondent Jenny Bond was preparing her evening news report about the coronation. She had decided to focus specifically on Catherine and William's coordinated appearance. The story was not just about what they wore, but about what their outfit choices revealed about their relationship and their approach to their royal duties. Fashion magazines were already planning special issues about the coronation outfits. Editors were calling their writers asking for detailed analysis of how Catherine and William had achieved such perfect coordination. The navy blue elements were being described as a masterclass in subtle couple dressing. Social media was exploding with comments about the matching outfits. Royal fans from around the world were posting pictures and videos pointing out all the navy blue connections. Hashtags like Coordinated Royals and Navy Blue Unity were trending on Twitter. People were creating their own versions of the coordinated look. Royal style blogger Emma Harrison was writing a detailed post about the symbolism behind the color choices. She explained to her followers that navy blue represented loyalty, stability, and service. When Catherine chose to incorporate this color into her coronation outfit, she was showing her commitment to supporting William and the monarchy. Fashion psychologist Dr. Caroline Meyer was being interviewed on radio about the deeper meaning of coordinated couple dressing. She explained that when partners choose to match their clothing, it shows a desire to present as a unified team. Catherine and William's navy blue coordination was a visual representation of their emotional bond. In the royal archives, historians were already making notes about the significance of this coordinated appearance. They understood that future researchers would want to study how Catherine and William used fashion to communicate their partnership. The navy blue elements would become part of the historical record of this coronation. Palace insiders who knew about the planning process were impressed by how well the coordination had worked. Everyone involved had kept the matching elements secret until the day itself. The surprise factor had made the impact even more powerful when people finally saw Catherine and William together. Royal wedding planners around the world were taking notes about the coordinated appearance. Couples getting married were already asking for advice on how to create similar harmony in their own wedding outfits. The navy blue coordination was inspiring a new trend in partnership dressing. Television producers were planning documentaries about the coronation fashion. They wanted to explore how Catherine and William had used their outfit choices to communicate their relationship strength. The navy blue elements would be analyzed frame by frame to understand their full impact. By evening, the coordinated appearance had become the most talked about fashion story of the coronation. Fashion critics were praising Catherine and William for their sophisticated approach to couple dressing. The navy blue connection had succeeded in showing the world that they were truly partners in every sense of the word. The unspoken understanding between Catherine and William had been communicated perfectly through their coordinated outfits. Without saying a word, they had shown everyone that they were ready to face the future together as a perfectly matched team. Professional photographer Marcus Davidson had been covering royal events for 15 years, but he had never experienced anything like the Coronation Day photo opportunities with Catherine and William. From the moment they stepped out of their car at Westminster Abbey, he knew he was witnessing something special in terms of visual harmony. Marcus positioned himself strategically along the Abbey entrance to capture their arrival. When Catherine emerged from the car, her ivory cape flowing behind her, he immediately saw how the navy blue accessories created perfect color balance in his viewfinder. William's matching navy uniform provided the visual anchor that made every shot compositionally perfect. The lighting inside Westminster Abbey was challenging for photography, but the coordinated outfits made Marcus's job easier in unexpected ways. The navy blue elements in both their ensembles reflected light in similar ways, creating natural focal points in every image. His camera seemed to automatically balance the exposure between Catherine's light ivory dress and William's darker uniform. Fellow photographer Sarah Chen was working from a different angle in the Abbey. She noticed how Catherine and William's body language perfectly matched their coordinated clothing. They moved together with natural synchronization that made every photograph look like it had been carefully choreographed, even though it was completely spontaneous. During the ceremony itself, Marcus captured images that would later be called masterpieces of royal photography. The way Catherine's navy blue belt caught light from the stained glass windows created a subtle connection to William's uniform, even when they were seated apart. The coordinated colors made them appear linked even in wide shots of the entire congregation. Portrait photographer James Mitchell was documenting the event for official royal records. He had photographed many royal couples over the years, but had never seen such perfect visual harmony between partners. The navy blue coordination created what he would later describe as a visual conversation between Catherine and William that spoke louder than words. When the royal family moved to the balcony at Buckingham Palace, the photographers gathered below faced a new challenge. Shooting upward from street level required different techniques, but Catherine and William's coordinated appearance made every angle work beautifully. The ivory and navy combination created contrast that remained striking from any perspective. Wildlife photographer turned royal event specialist Diana Roberts found herself fascinated by the technical aspects of photographing the coordinated outfits. The navy blue elements served as visual anchors that helped viewers' eyes move naturally between Catherine and William in group shots. It was like they had created their own photographic rules through their clothing choices. Wedding photographer Tom Hayes was covering the coronation as a special assignment. He immediately recognized the genius of Catherine and William's coordination from his experience photographing couples. The matching navy blue created the same visual unity he tried to achieve with wedding couples, but Catherine and William had accomplished it naturally through their outfit planning. Fashion photographer Rebecca Stone was documenting the coronation for Vogue magazine. She had shot countless fashion editorials featuring coordinated couples, but had never seen real-life subjects achieve such sophisticated visual harmony. The navy blue connection between Catherine and William's outfits created editorial-quality images without any styling intervention. Portrait specialist Michael Thompson was working for Getty Images, capturing historic moments throughout the day. His editor kept requesting more shots of Catherine and William together because their coordinated appearance was creating the most popular images of the entire event. The navy blue elements made every photograph instantly recognizable and memorable. Sports photographer converted to royal events, Lisa Chung discovered that Catherine and William's coordination made action shots much easier to capture. When they walked together, the matching navy blue elements helped her camera's autofocus system track them as a single unit. The coordinated colors created natural framing that improved every dynamic photograph. Fine art photographer David Park was documenting the coronation for a museum exhibition. He realized that Catherine and William's coordinated appearance was creating images that worked as both historical documents and artistic compositions. The navy blue harmony elevated ordinary moments into photographs that could hang in galleries. Documentary photographer Emma Wilson was capturing behind-the-scenes moments throughout the day. Even in candid shots when Catherine and William thought no one was looking, their coordinated outfits created compelling images. The navy blue connection made every casual interaction appear intentional and meaningful. By the end of the day, photographers were already comparing notes about the incredible visual opportunities Catherine and William's coordination had provided. Photo editors at major news organizations were finding it difficult to choose which images to publish because the coordinated outfits had made every shot exceptional. Royal photography historian Professor Alan Stewart would later write that the coronation marked a new standard for royal couple photography. Catherine and William's navy blue coordination had created a visual language that other royal couples would try to emulate for years to come. The photographer's unanimous conclusion was that Catherine and William had achieved something remarkable. They had used coordinated fashion to create photographs that told the story of their partnership more effectively than any posed portrait session could have accomplished. The navy blue elements had turned every candid moment into photographic gold. 6 months after the coronation, fashion historians around the world were still studying the photographs of Catherine and William's coordinated appearance. Dr. Elizabeth Harper at the Fashion Institute was writing a research paper about how the couple had used matching navy blue elements to redefine royal partnership dressing for the modern era. The Victoria and Albert Museum in London had added several items to their royal fashion collection, specifically because of the coronation coordination trend. Visitors were particularly interested in seeing examples of how subtle color matching could create powerful visual statements about relationships and partnerships. Fashion schools were using Catherine and William's Coronation looks as case studies in their courses about couple styling and color coordination. Students were learning how the navy blue elements had created harmony without being too obvious or matching exactly. It had become a masterclass in sophisticated partnership dressing. Bridal magazines were still featuring articles about the coronation coordination 6 months later. Couples planning weddings were asking their stylists to help them achieve similar harmony in their own outfits. The navy blue connection had inspired a trend toward more thoughtful coordination between partners at special events. Royal fashion expert Amanda Wilson had written a book about the coronation outfits that became an international bestseller. An entire chapter was dedicated to analyzing how Catherine and William's navy blue coordination had communicated their bond more effectively than any public statement could have achieved. Catherine and William themselves were still receiving compliments about their coordinated appearance months later. During official engagements, people would mention how perfect they had looked together at the coronation. The navy blue coordination had become part of their public image as a couple who understood the power of visual unity. The dress that Catherine wore was now on permanent display at Kensington Palace. Museum visitors could see up close how the navy blue accessories had been perfectly chosen to complement William's uniform. Audio guides explained the significance of the color coordination and its impact on royal fashion history. Fashion designers around the world had been inspired by the coordination to create their own couple collections. High-end brands were launching lines specifically designed for partners who wanted to achieve similar harmony in their formal wear. The navy blue trend had created an entire new market segment. Social media accounts dedicated to royal fashion were still posting analysis of the coronation coordination. Fashion bloggers continued to create content explaining how other couples could adapt the navy blue harmony principle for their own special occasions. The look had achieved legendary status in fashion circles. Catherine's stylist had been inundated with requests from other high-profile clients wanting to achieve similar coordination with their partners. The coronation's success had established a new standard for couple styling that everyone wanted to emulate, but few could execute as perfectly. Wedding planners reported that couples were specifically requesting navy blue elements in their ceremonies because of the coronation inspiration. The color had become associated with loyalty, partnership, and sophisticated style. Catherine and William had made navy blue the color of committed love. Fashion photographers were still using the coronation images as examples of perfect couple photography. The way the navy blue elements had created visual connections between Catherine and William in every shot had become a textbook example of how clothing choices could enhance photographic storytelling. Royal biographers writing about Catherine and William's relationship always included detailed analysis of the coronation coordination. The navy blue harmony had become symbolic of how well they worked together as partners in their royal duties and personal lives. A year later, Catherine and William attended another major royal event. Fashion watchers around the world were studying their outfits to see if they would coordinate again. The coronation had set expectations that they would continue to use their clothing choices to communicate their partnership strength.